What's up, everybody? It's Bear with preparedness.com. You know, somebody earlier today said, you look a little puffy, Bear. I don't know what that means, but I'm pretty sure that they confused me for Sean Puffy Combs, but I think he goes by P Daddy now. Something like that. Today we're going to talk about my love-hate relationship with this. Stand by. Now, me and this carrier go way back. I've had this particular carrier 5 or 6 years, somewhere in there. Hundreds of hours of shooting in it, doing the things in it, wearing it for exercise, wearing it for patrolling, wearing it for training. It's a Condor, MOPC, Modular Operators Plate Carrier. And when I first got it, and when I first showed y'all it, many people were like, that's not military specification. Neither are you. It's gonna fall apart. It hasn't. It's cheap. Yeah, I know. It's not a cry JPC. You know the J in JPC stands for jumpable. You jumping out of any planes lately, homeboy? Most people, the answer to that is no. So, lots of hate for the Condor MOPC, and I've actually found it to be the opposite. Now, this video is not about me singing the praises of the Condor MOPC or any particular plate carrier in general. It's about the applicability of plates and armor in the uncertain world that we live in these days. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation. This thing here, I don't know what it weighs. It's got to be at least 20 pounds, 20 plus pounds maybe. I mean, there's 6 mags. Whoop, don't fall over tripod. Behave, tripod. This tripod's very shy. It's the same one that fell over when we were shooting AKs. There's 6 mags, so that's 6 pounds. There's 2.5 liters of water, so that's 5 pounds. So that's 11 pounds. There's an SOB, that's 12 pounds. A couple of Glock mags, 13, 14, a radio, and a multi-tool. It's got to be 15, and you add in the plates, and these are level 4 ceramic multi-hit rated plates, plus the carrier. It's got to be 20, 25 pounds easy. Call it 25 pounds. And this is not I'm going to show you all the cool things in my plate carrier video. I've already done that years ago. Just search Bear Independent Plate Carrier or Bear Independent MOPC, Modular Operators Plate Carrier. The question is, when do I need 25 pounds of additional equipment on top of me? And this is really a question that I've been asking myself based upon a couple of different conversations. One that Pastor Joe Fox at Viking Preparedness has been having at his channel regarding EDC and that you need to up your EDC. And the other, Twitch at the YouTube channel Shield Bearer of Faith. Shield Bearer of Faith. Talking about fighting light. This is not light. I recently was doing some training in this where we were doing many things, but one of the things was bounding Overwatch. And no big deal when you first get started. A couple hours later of running around with an extra 25 pounds on you, it doesn't feel so good. Now, on the one hand, harden up, Bear. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I agree, and I'm working on that. Although my knees today, after that training here recently, they're not terribly happy. That's okay. But yes, harden up, which illustrates the point that if you're going to have stuff like this, you need to train in it and you need to be physically fit enough to be able to operate in said equipment. Otherwise, it does you no good. It's the same as having a pistol or a rifle you don't know how to shoot. It's cool, but is it really cool if you can't use it? No, it's not very cool at all. Jocko Discipline Go Afterburner Orange, for all those who are going to ask. No, they don't pay me to say that. I think they're kind of tasty. So on the one hand, yeah, harden up. On the other hand, what's the mission? If the mission's going to town and get groceries, plate carrier, at least right now, is not required. Probably going to be your EDC, right? And this is not an EDC video either, other than to say you should have certain protocols on what you carry, where you carry, depending on what the threat level is. The question really is, see, for me, when it comes to plate carriers, there's maybe 3 columns. The first is cool guys that don't have names, legit cool guys. I'm not saying that facetiously. That don't have names, that fly in on a helicopter, and they've got 2, maybe 3 mags on them, and they're wearing armor that is super lightweight, composite armor. They've got, their ballistic helmets on and their nods, and they're running a super badass rifle, and they hop off the helo a mile from the target, walk in, 3, 2, 1, go. Breach, we're in, bang, 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 bang. Everybody good? Yeah, everybody good. Cool, everybody's up. Let's walk back out of here again and go get picked up by the helo. And rarely do they even get dirty anymore. In many cases, this is what we would call tier 1 operators. Right, so that's a very lightweight plate carrier with a minimal amount of stuff on it because the duration of the mission is a few hours. Then you have other tier 1 elements or tier 2 elements that are in field for up to 30 days at a time. That are carrying significantly more stuff on them. Significantly more stuff. More ammo, more medical, more water, commo, maybe some breaching tools, maybe some chemicals, chem whites, spare batteries, food, blah, 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 right? All the blah, blahs. And those guys, plate carriers, sometimes have 8, 10, 12 magazines on them because that's the ammo they've got for the next 30 days or so. And I have at times, by the way, I'm not saying I'm a cool guy at all, just so we're on the same page here. I have at times run upwards of 10 magazines on this particular plate carrier here. And then it kind of begs the question, well, we'll come to the third application, security. Security. You're on security, either in a static position or you're dynamic, you're moving around, right? Roving security patrols, you're patrolling. Then what do you need to have? Well, I could make the argument that that's 2 different things. Static security, need 3 magazines, 1 in the gun and a couple of reloads, maybe 3 on a shingle on the front of my plate carrier. I'm up to 4 mags now, and not a whole lot else. A radio, a blowout kit, maybe a camelback. That's about it. Versus patrolling. Patrolling. No, I want you and 17 of your friends, or however large your element is. We'll just say you and 3 of your friends to go walking through the woods around our AO for the next 12 hours. To be the green-eyed boogeyman in the middle of the night in case somebody tries to come in here who shouldn't be here, so that you can either relay that information back to home base and say, hey, there's bad guys in our AO, or so that you can deal with the problem. That's a different application, because that's probably not a 2 to 3 magazine application. You can burn a couple mags just in a break contact drill, especially depending on who you're trying to break contact with and how many of you there are. But it's also not the, I'm going to be in the field for the next 30 days either, which is kind of the role that this carrier set up this way currently fulfills. It's not 3 mags, it's not 10 mags, that's 6 mags. It's not a rucksack, it's a day pack, but it's not no day pack. We're not just a camelback. But even that begs the question, if I'm patrolling, do I need body armor? Would I be better served with a chest rig that's carrying 6 mags and a blowout kit and a radio with a camelback on the back of it and save myself 10, 15 pounds on plates? The answer to that is maybe. Which gets back to, what kind of intel do you have? Because if I know there's bad guys in yon woods over here, that greatly increases the likelihood that we're going to end up on the two-way firing range, right? And if we're likely going to end up on the two-way firing range, I ought to have my plates on me, don't you think? If this is more of a reconnaissance patrol, where we're just going to go see what we can see, I think it begs the question, am I better served with a chest rig to save all that weight? That I can carry less weight and therefore have greater stamina, or I can carry more things like water or medical or whatever else. Or maybe I'm the team medic and I've got to carry a 20-pound day pack filled with medical stuff. Maybe I don't need 10 magazines. I can drop 4 pounds just by dropping 4 mags right there. Right? And so all this is to say that once you start doing these things, once you start practicing these things, your kit is going to necessarily change. And I don't think you need to be afraid to change your kit based upon your real world data. I saw a video one time, I don't even remember who put it out. It might have been Tactical Rifleman. Which, what's up, Carl? Carl's a good dude, by the way. I don't know if it was Tactical Rifleman or if it wasn't. It was some channel like that. And it was like, how a Navy SEAL sets up his plate carrier. Dude, here's the answer to that. TC dependent, mission specific, okay? It depends. What's the mission? If the mission is flying on the helo, set down, hop off, walk a half a mile, bang, 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 bang. Everybody's up, let's move. Walk back out a half a mile and get back on the helo. That Navy SEAL is going to have far less stuff on his plate carrier. He also, depending on, again, intel, depending on what the specific threat level is, may have different plates in that carrier, right? You're going to carry different equipment if you're fighting the Russian regular army than if you're fighting jihadis in the sandbox. So the Navy SEAL that day, his plate carrier might be, for flying in on the helo, might be 2 rifle magazines, 2 pistol magazines, and a blowout kit, maybe some camo gear. Versus, something else that they might do. We're going to be in theater for the next 7 months, and you're going to be operating out of this fob, patrolling. Okay, that's something a little bit different. We're going to go heavier. But all of this comes back to weight. And you need the appropriate amount of weight for the mission. And if you don't clearly understand what the mission is, and it needs to be more specific than, I'm gonna not die in a zombie apocalypse, that's the mission. Cool, bro. My goal too. If that's as clearly as you can define the goal, you're probably not gonna do that well in the zombie apocalypse or any other facsimile of the zombie apocalypse. You need intel, right? What are we up against? But I think there's a place in this discussion for chest rigs when it comes to recon. And by the way, I'm not asking your permission to approve whether or not I wear a plate carrier for specific applications. I'm telling you what I have been doing and what I've been thinking about. And I also think that you owe it to yourself and everybody around you to run as light as you can while still being able to accomplish the mission. And you need to be PT'd well enough. You owe yourself to be strong enough and have enough stamina and endurance to be able to carry whatever you may need to carry, not just for yourself, but for your brother on the right and brother on the left. Because if you got to hump the saw today and you just can't, what does that do for everybody else? And this is me speaking to me too. getting back to that training session we were doing a few days ago, my knees still hurt. And part of it's because of this heavy MFer right here. Now, when the rounds are snapping, it's really nice to have that heavy MFer wrapped around you, swaddling you with all that multi-hit ceramic, right? Ceramic has a shelf life. I know. I have the same internet you do. Gosh. By the way, it's completely unimpressive when people regurgitate facts that they've just been waiting for the precise moment to arise where they could, I know a thing and I said it in a comment on the internet. Congrats. Everybody thinks you're cool too. But I guess, yet again, I'm encouraging you to go do the things and figure out when you need armor and when you need a slick kit, a couple of mags, a couple of pistol mags. Maybe, as the world continues to degrade, you do need a slick kit for going to town. Probably for bugging out, because all systems begin, or at least they should begin, as vehicle-borne operations, and then they have the capability to degrade into man-portable systems, right? If you're just riding around, throw the armor on, sit in the car, somebody starts shooting, you already got the armor on, right? But if you got to walk for the next 200 miles for your bug out, do I take that extra 25 pounds of armor now? Or do I not? These are interesting thoughts. And see, the goal should be to avoid conflict, especially a shooting conflict, whenever we can. Gets back to good intel. I'd like to know who I'm dealing with before I'm dealing with them. Now, that's not always afforded to us. We don't always have that heads up. But to the best of my ability, I should be collecting that intelligence. I'm working up daily intelligence packages for myself and for the people around me. Hey, here's what's going on in the neighborhood. It's looking a little hairy out there. Yeah, kit up. And I guess the last thing I'll say is, not all of your kit needs to live on your plate carrier. I'm a big fan of war belts. War belt. You just feel really tough when you say, war belt. It's a war belt. Okay. Somebody just called me. What's wrong with them? Anyway, they interrupted the video. Anyway, I'm a big fan of war belts. So, having a minimum loadout around your waist that's augmented by the load you throw upon your chest can be a very good way to do things. And if you find yourself in a bad situation and you've got your war belt on, but you don't have your plates on, at least then you've got some spare magazines and some medical and maybe a radio and maybe a knife and probably a pistol to deal with the problem. So, food for thought. I'm interested in your comments. By the way, when it comes to plates, if it won't stop rifle rounds, they're not plates to me. So, I like level 4s. I like level 4s a lot, even though they're heavy and they're bulky and they're blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take the weight, might as well take the weight, right? And I have not yet ascended to the position, the social status where I can afford the polyethylene plates. I don't have the money for that, honestly. Somebody wants to send me some for review, sounds good, but other than that, man, I'm just a regular guy like y'all. I don't have the money for those plates. That could change the equation quite a bit, because if you go from 6 to 8 pounds per plate to 2 to 3 pounds per plate, let's just say you go from 15 pounds to 5 pounds, that probably changes the equation an awful lot. But, you know, working man bear over here, working with what I've got, I'll take it. And so if you have bought a Condor Mop C, good for you. You're not going to die. Well, if you do, it's not because of that. At least it's worked for me. If you have a Cry JPC, cool. I don't jump out of planes, bro. I'm a little big for that. Bear's not just like a cute phrase that somebody came up with. I'm a little big for that. And, you know, all the way around. Although I'm working on the circumference. 75 hard. If you have the equipment, go train with it. Because just like your rifle, just like your med kit, if you don't know how to use your plate carrier and you don't know how to set it up for you, the way you need it set up, it doesn't matter. It's more of that prepper masturbation that's so popular on the internet these days. So, hit me in the comments. Plates or no plates? Or when do you run plates and when don't you run plates? Bless y'all. Shalom.